So I had a question come up about ngrok because in one of the previous videos that I did when we talked about using the LTI Starter app, that was one of the things that I referenced. And so I wanted to explain exactly how you get ngrok up and running and use it with the LTI Starter app. We've actually removed a fair amount of the README related to ngrok since we don't use it anymore internally, but there are a couple of things that I can show you really quickly that should get you up and running. So one of the things you'll need to do is install ngrok, and that's pretty easy to do. You just go out to their website and download it. So I've got my browser here. I just do a Google search for ngrok. Here's their website. Click on that. You'll need to sign up for an account. That's pretty easy to do. You can sign up using your GitHub account or Google, or if you want to sign up, you can do that right here. Then you'll need to download the software. So you'll download it. If you're on a Mac, it'll just give you a binary file. I put mine in user local bin because it's in my path, and that way it's available no matter where I am on my machine. So once you've gone through that whole process, it's going to ask you to set up the authentication. If you've signed up for an ngrok account, the authentication will be the first page that you hit in your ngrok account. You just run a simple command, ngrok with the authentication token, and that will set up your authentication. So at that point, you're ready to actually start using ngrok. So I can come in here and just type ngrok. And you'll notice that it gives me the help information. So I haven't actually started up any ngrok processes. I'll do that here in just 1 second. All right, so another thing that you'll need to deal with is the environment. So you'll need to either set up your environment by hand, which is a painful process, or set up another tool to do it for you. And I'll show you one here in just a second. And the reason you're going to need to set up the environment is if you look in the procfile.env, this is basically what remains of the documentation on how to use ngrok with the LTI Starter app. The first thing you'll need to do is run this command, which is ngrok start -- none. So that'll start up your ngrok process, but it won't start any of the tunnels that you'll need to run the application. We still have this ngrok.rb file, so you'll need to start that up. That's what actually will start the tunnels. So if I look at that file, basically what it's going to do is it's going to go to the to your environment and pull up your subdomain and your app port and your assets subdomain and your assets port, and it's going to start 2 tunnels, one for the Ruby on Rails server and one for the assets server, which is being powered backed by Webpack. Well, by Express with Webpack middleware. All right, so that's why you'll need to have your environment loaded. The tool that I use to do that is AutoEnv. Oops, spell it correctly. That's this tool right here. It's also really easy to install. If you're on a Mac, you can just do a brew install AutoEnv and then just add this to your bash profile. What that'll do is anytime you change into that directory, so if I go into Starter app, now I can go grab my app subdomain, like that, and you can see that there's my subdomain from my environment file. So now that will permit my Ruby script to read those values from the environment. Like I say, you can do that by hand, but that's kind of a miserable process to go through every time you want to start up the project. Now this running with ngrok is going to require that we start 4 processes. So let me walk through each of those processes really quickly. So the first is just starting up the Rails server, and I believe I have my port set to 3030. To bundle install. While that's installing, let's start up. This will start up my Webpack server, which apparently I haven't installed everything. So let me get everything installed here. And while that's doing all of the installs, we'll go start up the ngrok processes. So, all right. So once again, you can go to the procfile.ngrok, and you can just copy paste these commands if you want, or you can type them out, whatever's good for you. So this will start up ngrok. You can see that I'm just running off a free plan. And now I can run this script in another window here. So that will start up ngrok, and it's listening on 3030 and 8030. And I have this lti.ngrok.io, and you notice here it's HTTPS, so I can access that service over SSL, and it's the same with the assets. All right, so let's see if my bundle install completed. It did. So let's start up the Rails server. Start up my Webpack server. Let's see, 8030 is already in use. So looks like I have it running in another process. Let me just kill that really quickly. And try again. Okay, so now my Webpack server is up and running. Same problem with the Rails server. Start it back up. Had another process running on port 3030. That's why we use so many different ports. Is we have lots of projects, and every once in a while I have a conflict with the ports. Okay, so now if I go to HTTPS lti.ngrok.io, there's my application. So I'm up and running using ngrok. I can load my homepage, and then when I go to install this as an LTI tool inside of my learning management system, in our case we frequently use Instructure Canvas. It's a great learning management system, great tool. It requires that our LTI tools are installed using SSL. So now I have an SSL-backed domain that will tunnel into my development computer, and I can do my development work. And that's kind of it. So now you can see I've got these 4 processes running. Here's my Rails process. Here's my Node process with an Express server and the Webpack hot reload middleware. Here's ngrok running, and you can see that here's my tunnels set up and functioning, and they're forwarding to localhost 8030 and 3030. And then this is the Ruby script that we use to bring up both of those tunnels fairly easily and fairly quickly. All right, that's it.